Man, listen, I came across a clip not long ago, and it was really just kind of highlighting the alignment of proper advice, right? A lot of times people get caught up into this notion of every piece of advice is applicable to them. But the reality is, there are some things that are amazing for some people, but the reality is that same advice sucks for the next person. It doesn't mean that the advice is bad, it's just really identifying whether or not that advice or insight or perspective is aligned with the person that you're speaking with. And so this clip, man, and it's actually two clips. But the first one, just kind of highlights exactly what I'm saying. We'll jump into it and then I'll share the other clip in just a second.
So
Well, it
that's
may
it.
not be dumb. It may just be wrong. It may be a really, really intelligent wrong decision.
Okay. For those,
So hold on. So think about this. The advice might not be dumb. It just might not, and it might be intelligent. It just might not be the right decision for them, right? And context, like this clip, these guys are talking about, thinking about what's best for, and with regard to helping someone, or what's best with regard to, helping, someone get insight or perspective on a particular situation. And one of the dudes that was in the clip, he was really reflective, and he was saying that at times he had been caught up giving people advice, and then he looked back on it, he was like, yo, that was stupid, not because it was stupid advice, but because it was not aligned with that particular person that I was talking to. And so this other clip here kind of explains that. I'm gonna let you hear this and then we'll chat for a little bit more about it. But yeah, all advice
instead
ain't for
of
everybody.
pushing them towards what has the Lord asked you, because I wasn't trained to do that ever, I would be like, well, what are they doing? Oh, that's working really well. Why wouldn't you do that? Don't you want to have more impact? Don't you want to have this? And like, isn't that the kind of person that you want to be? Well, yes. So I want to be. So why aren't you doing it? And then he essentially just guilt trips them, and either they get the option to either cut me out of their life.
So okay, so that was obviously a little choppy there, due I guess my reception or whatever. But what he was saying was, instead of really figuring out what that person needs to do based off of what God has called them to do, I'm just giving them advice based off of what other people have done. And it's interesting because historically speaking, you always hear this concept of success leaves clues, right? And that is true, meaning other people set the playbook, other people create a model for you to follow, but you have to be mindful of the fact that you're not always called to follow that model specifically to a T. There might be something in what they did that inspires you, but you have to then take it and contextualize it in a way that makes sense for you. Your job is to not copy and paste. I talk to the kids all the time, or well, my kids, and we talk about the fact that you rarely, if ever, see a cover band win a Grammy, meaning the person who's playing other people's songs. I mean, you do have folks who win Grammys for redoing a song, etc. But someone who builds their full career off of doing what other people have done rarely reach the pinnacle. And the whole point of it is you have to take time to understand who you are, who you're called to be, how God has set you up, how the experiences, the skills, the gifts, the talents that you've been blessed with, how those things are supposed to be utilized. And then you got to have the courage and the confidence to utilize them in the way that you're supposed to. That may or may not be just like everybody else. That's the hard part, especially when you see success from everybody else, especially when you see success from other people. But that's why, biblically it's stated that comparison is a thief of joy, right? Like when you look at it through that lens, I mean, we're not here to compare. We're here to actually be obedient to what we're called to do, whether or not that aligns with what what everybody else does, that's beside the point. Our job is to be obedient to what we're called to do. And then over time, everything falls into place. So, yeah, this was really interesting to me. I mean, I heard it. And again, my whole premise with my channel and content is to help you become the quarterback of your mindset so that you can walk this thing out at a very high level, but do so in alignment with how you were designed, not copying anybody else, not doing it like anybody else, but doing it like you. Because full transparency, there's only been one you. There will only ever be one you. Yes, we'll have these digital twins and all this, technological stuff in which your voice will live on and people can copy and mimic and all of that. But the reality is you, what you see in the mirror, when someone hugs, what they smell, what they feel. There will only be one of those walking this earth. So that unique and special value proposition is here for a reason. So the question is, what are you going to do with it? So again, this is all about helping you become the quarterback of your mindset. What you going to do with it? All right. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise. Leave some comments, share this thing out, and until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.